with the Cavaliers though, because there's some Cavaliers stuff to talk about. Colin Sexton. What do you think's going on with Colin Sexton right now?
You know, I tell you like this, man. Darius Garland getting extension this season may have opened up the doors to a lot of things, because had DG not got his extension, it would have left room for Colin, a clear-cut option that Colin was going to end up getting re-signed. Now that DG got his extension a year early and Colin didn't, it kind of puts a lot of things I've even said on the back burner, because it's like Colin might actually get traded, or at least he's going to have it's an option at the very least. Because now you're hearing people say, let's do a sign and trade for Mike Conley, which I hope to God that does not happen.
No, I don't want. Stay away from that, Cavs.
Yeah, Kobe, please. I beg of you. But I think Colin is going to end up re-signing here. I truly think that. But I do think Kobe Altman is – I think he's going to use this as leverage to get his price down, which I think that's probably the problem. I don't think it's a talent issue. I think it's just he thinks he's a little overpriced right now. And that was one of the things I was fearing, because I felt like Colin was probably going to get at least 150 plus.
Yeah, you don't want to say that.
And when you already gave Colin, we gave Colin, DG, like 200 something. So you don't want to have DG and Colin making $200 million, and you gave Jared Allen 100. You're probably going to extend Karis LeVert, and then Evan Mobley, if he keeps developing, he's going to get some money.
He's going to get the max as well, super max.
So you can't, because I say all the time, if you give players that type of money, you basically said, this is the roster you're locked in with. This is the roster you think you can potentially make the finals with. I'm not sure if Kobe's sure about that, or at least at the very least, he want more money on the table to make more moves to make sure that this is the team he's confident in to potentially make it to the finals, which is why I think he's using this as leverage. Because if Colin Sexton is truly, and I'm not sure the exact dollar amount, a lot of people's not sure, but my logical thinking cap is saying that Colin is probably, and he signed with Rich Paul, so he's he's trying to get a bag. And my logical thinking cap is saying he probably asked for maybe like 190, 180. Because when you see the market right now, like Michael Porter Jr. broke that, when he got 200 something. For Michael Porter Jr. And I like Michael Porter Jr., but 200? You got rookie extension coming off 190, 170. And I think Colin Sexton and his mom believes, I deserve that type of money. At the very least, he's going to get more than 100 million, because Jared got 100. So,
well, he also watched Anthony Simons and Jalen Brunson receive $25 million per year deals. And he could arguably say, my best season was better than both of those players' best seasons in the NBA. Because people forget Colin Sexton had a season where he averaged 22 points per game. Now, the spacing and all that stuff might not have been that great that season, but at the end of the day, he's had more of a consistent season than both Brunson and Simons did. Where Brunson's money came from, was it was built off the playoffs. It was built off the playoffs. That's where his money came from. Anthony Simons' money was built off Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum being injured. Colin Sexton's money is not being built off anything right now, because the argument is his 22 point per game season was a fluke because we didn't have anyone else to put up points and all of that type of stuff. And then when he actually played this season in a somewhat system that we had going on, he only averaged 16 points on 28% from three, which doesn't warrant any more than 21 million a season. My thinking is there could be something else going on here where the Cavaliers could be waiting all off season to get a trade done. But don't be surprised if I release this goddamn podcast and Colin Sexton is playing for like the Shanghai Sharks or something on $200 million a season, because that's how my luck is. Like, I don't know how it's gonna be.
I think at the very least, I think Kobe Altman might take the approach of Phoenix with DeAndre Ayton.
And just wait till someone gives an offer sheet.
Yeah, just to see his value, to truly see what his value worth.
Who is going to give up the offer sheet?
Huh?
Who's going to offer the offer sheet?
That's the $1 billion question, right? Because, and I think low key that's what Kobe Altman is waiting for. Because let's say hypothetically someone don't, we know his value is not that high. We know his value is not 190, it's not 170, it's not 150. Now Kobe can, to an extent, lowball him a little bit, because it's like, hey, I let you out in the open market technically. 29 other teams didn't really give you consideration. We value you here, don't get me wrong, but if 29 other teams is not going to give you that money, what makes you think we're going to give it to you, right? Let's come down, let's bring your value up, sign this, and then after this extension, then we can talk chickens, right? But if a team say, all right, let's say, even though they wouldn't do that, but let's say the OKC Thunder say, all right, we'll give you 190. Now Kobe Altman got 2 days to make the decision. Is he worth 190? Should I do a sign and trade, or should I just let him walk for nothing?
If a team's offering Colin Sexton 190, I'm letting him walk. Like, that's just the reality of it. If a team offers Colin Sexton 150, I'm letting Colin Sexton walk. There is no assets that we can get back that are worth taking on a $150 million contract. Now, if he was to get offered 120, if that is a 5-year deal that we have to get back on, so what would it be, 22 million or something per year? I would probably accept that, right? My thing is, though, who is going to offer Colin Sexton such a big deal? Like, I guess I can search it up now. Who has remaining salary? Like, I really don't know. And I think it would mainly come from a sign and trade. I think the obvious one is the Utah Jazz. I think they're the obvious one.
Yeah.
I think there's players we can get from Utah that could very well help our team. But I'm not sure. Who do you think has the most cap space in the league? There are 2 teams that have quality cap space.
San Antonio.
Yes, 26.8 million. And the Pacers somehow have 26.7 million. I feel like the Pacers have a lot of players locked up, so I don't know how they have that cap space.
Because of that trade they did with the Malcolm Brogdon at free, because that's what ended up giving them enough money to even extend the DA. Because of that trade, they freed up that much money.
Yeah, and then the Pistons have $7 million. That's the next best.
What about the Spurs? Is they really that under? They don't even got nobody.
The Pistons.
How high is the Spurs? How much money cap does the Spurs got?
So the Spurs have number 1. They have 28 million pretty much.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Okay. But do you think the Spurs would even think about that? Because the reason the Pistons are in a weird salary cap situation right now is because they've got Kelly Olynyk on 13 million, Marvin Bagley's on 13 million, Cade's on 11, Alec Burks is on 10, Nerlens Noel is on 9.5, Kemba Walker's on 9.5. I don't know why, but they're paying DeAndre Jordan $7.8 million next season. Where that came from, I'm not sure. But yeah, the Pistons are paying DeAndre Jordan $7.8 million. And yeah, that's where some of their salary cap issues are coming from. I don't think the Pistons get Colin Sexton. I don't think that happens.
Well, I think that's off the table, especially because they got Jaden Ivey.
Yeah.
Which, to a degree, to their eyes, could be Colin or better, or at least better than Killian Hayes, who I think is who's gonna get traded. But I think they're all in with Jaden Ivey. I think Colin for Detroit is completely off the table. Cade and Jaden Ivey, I think, is gonna be that their ideal 1-2.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about room for point guards, that's why I thought of San Antonio that could be a home, but the question is, do they got the assets for Cleveland long term?
Well, I think the Spurs as well. The Spurs would maybe say to themselves, well, first of all, we're probably the worst team in the league. Like, I don't think it's a question that the Spurs are 100% the worst team in the league, right? Yeah, okay, so we're all agreeing on that. Spurs are the worst team in the league. The Spurs could say to themselves, if we get Colin Sexton and trade up an asset or two, are we still the worst team in the league? Is that Victor guy 100% ours? You know what I mean? And then the Jazz could say to themselves too, holy crap, we've got a lot of guard depth here. We're going to send some of these guards to the Lakers and all of this stuff's going to happen. But we want to bring in a young guard like Colin Sexton and maybe build around. They could say to the Cavs, we'll give you Bojan Bogdanovic and one of the first or two that we got out of Minnesota and the Knicks when they do the Donovan Mitchell trade. If I'm the Cavaliers, I'm 100% taking a Bojan Bogdanovic, I think, for Colin Sexton. Would you do that? Because you get a first-round pick or two, and you get an 18 points per game type of guy that averages 40% from three.
I like that.
Yeah, and I think
because I like what he brings to a team. Yeah,
and he adds a lot.
And then we could put him at the small forward too.
Yeah,
small forward, power forward. We got a lot of flexibility. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. He'll cover that need, and he's gritty, which he got that dog. Like if you watch that Utah Dallas series, even though Utah lost, but it was just those small things he was doing. Because I wanted Luka to win so bad, but it was like those small things he was doing. That was like, yeah. Then they could, like, when they tried to run small, because they had their best rotation when they ran small, they had to take Rudy out, pit him at the 4, fluctuate him at the 5, and then
Hassan Whiteside slipped into the 5 sometime as well.
Yeah, and that was like their best offensive lineup, and a lot of that is attributed to him because of how much he can, like, because he can tack inside, he can shoot threes, and he was just a masterful passer at times, and he can rebound.
He can pass because through, isn't that right? He's got good ball movement. And the reality is, too, is he could slip into our shooting guard position, I think. 6'7" shooting guard, which is pretty good. Imagine that team. Garland at the 1, Bogdanovic at the 2. At the 3, you'd have Larry Markin, and 4, Mobley, and at the 5, Jarrett Allen. The only thing that starting 5 might not have is shot creation. But if Mobley develops as a shot creator, then holy crap. Watch out. That starting 5 would be insane. Defensively, that team would be insane. Like, Bogdanovic at the 2. I don't even care if he's a little slow. I don't care. He's still long and big enough to, I think, be able to do that pretty well. But I rate that a lot.